Now, it was, of course, a weekend of different sporting activities, both on the local and international scene. Now, sport fans, of course, in terms of the local scene, enjoyed the Nedbank Cup quarter-final fixtures, as well as the Joburg Open golf tournament. And taking a look at what happened internationally, there was, of course, the Champions Trophy final, which was won eventually by India out in Dubai. Now, to unpack all these sporting events that took place, we're now joined by the award-winning sports journalist, Khanyiso Tshwaku. A very good morning to you, Khanyiso. Thank you so much for joining us once again.
Good morning, Zen. Good morning to the viewers.
Khanyiso, I want to start our discussion and just get your thoughts and your reaction on the Nedbank Cup semi-final draw, where we saw the fact that Kaizer Chiefs will be coming up against the winner between Mamelodi Sundowns and Sekhukhune United, and the Buccaneers will be facing Maroon Gallants at the Yolanda Stadium.
Look, I mean, the key part is that three big teams are in the playoffs, so I think the sponsors will have got their money's worth. But these are teams that are deserving to beat. The Chiefs played very well to beat Stellenbosch FC. Maroon Gallants were able to outlast Durban City. I think Orlando Pirates, in the same vein, were able to outlast SuperSport United. But I think now the key part is really to see how, where and when the Sundowns game will be played. If you remember, that game was postponed on Saturday because of a venue clash. South Africa's under Wounds and the 17 side was playing there. But I think that there would have been a slight yearning for a Soweto derby. There's still a league Soweto derby that will still need to take place. But look, it sets up for the final very well, because either way, there will be one big team in the final. There could be two. There could be a possibility of a Soweto derby. There could be the possibility of a Pirates Sundowns game. There also could be the possibility of a Sekhukhune Maroon Gallants final, which will also be an interesting proposition, because at the end of the day, this is a cup football and anything can and will happen in cup football.
Indeed, Khanyiso. So perhaps then we can also speak to the fact that this week we are likely to see the sale of Royal AM. We know that the auction was scheduled to be taking place on Friday. I just want to get your final thoughts on that one, because before, of course, the team was brought over from Bloemfontein Celtic. We know how the Free State people loved going and watching a Bloemfontein Celtic team playing and always filled the stadium to the rafters.
Look, finally they've arrived at the right decision. The sale needed to take place sooner rather than later. I'm glad that is happening. I think the key part now is just ensuring that the buyer is vetted and ensuring that that particular buyer has got the interests of football and the club at heart. You can't be having a case of having a person who may be seen as a front in this particular case, because yes, one also wants to see the return of Bloemfontein Celtic, but also you want to make sure that the league is fully functional and fully running well, and that teams aren't actually experiencing the kind of problems that Royal AM experienced. I think the vetting of the ownership is going to be key, because also what you want to see are owners also making sure that they stick to their payment obligations when it comes to players, also ensuring that they are meeting their SARS obligations. So we hopefully whoever buys the club will buy the club with good intentions, ensure that whatever outstanding debts that the club is having, especially with the Samir Rukovic issue, that is also sorted out. Because remember now, should Royal AM return to playing, they've got a massive backlog that they need to catch up on.
Indeed. I want to now move our discussion into cricket and talk Champions Trophy. India victorious once again. Let's talk to that final, and perhaps many saying they feel that India was always set up to win the Champions Trophy by just the setup of the entire tournament.
Look, they played the games at one venue. But the conditions were tailored to the strengths. I mean, India across the two semi-finals had 72 overs of spin that went for less than 400 runs. So that will tell you that they maximized the availability of the conditions to their heart's content. But look, I mean, India across the ICC tournaments, out of 23 games, won 22. So at some point, they're always going to be winning one or two of those tournaments. They were well beaten in the World Cup final. But if you look back at the fact that they moved through the T20 World Cup, yes, again, they did have a fair rub of the green with the time of their games and the pre-selected semi-final venue. But I think with this particular Champions Trophy, there will be the taste that this tournament actually played in India's hands, because unlike other teams, they didn't have to travel. All the conditions were set towards them, whereas other teams had to travel to get to Dubai. So the dice was heavily loaded in India's favor, but they were able to still go out and win.
Yeah, I mean, you look at those Indian players on the team, just absolute class. Perhaps then moving on into rugby news, where we saw in the Six Nations, France having a very dominant victory up against Ireland, blowing the competition wide open.
Blowing the competition wide open is putting it mildly. There is a finale of all finales this coming weekend. Remember that you've got a team like Scotland, Wales, who are facing England. I mean, whenever England generally have had the Six Nations on the line and they need to make a trip to Cardiff, things haven't often gone well for them for those games. Ireland also have a mouth-watering clash towards the end. I mean, France in particular also have a game of their lives. So what the set of results, especially the one in Dublin, has given this weekend, one also always wants to see a team winning a Grand Slam, but also you want to see an entertaining and fulfilling climax, and that is exactly what you're going to get with the Six Nations this weekend.
And just a quick one, I've got about 30 seconds, Khanyiso. So your thoughts on Bafana securing a 3-1 victory, 4-1 on aggregate against Egypt in the CHAN qualifiers to move to the next round? This team, of course, led by Molefi Nzeki.
I certainly didn't expect it. I mean, I think the Bafana side was fortunate to escape with the draw last week. So for them to record such a momentous win in Cairo, especially in the tournament that will always be difficult to take seriously, it's a momentous win for them. I think they just now need to make sure that they step it up a bit in the next qualifiers. And actually, it wouldn't be a bad idea for South Africa to take part in CHAN, because the locally based players do need to be exposed to players who are on the same level across the continent. So it's a good step for them now. I think the next step is to qualify for the CHAN tournament.
All right, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Sports award-winning journalist Khanyiso Tshwaku just giving us a wrap of what we witnessed this weekend, and of course just speaking to those CHAN qualifiers. Bafana through to the next round of qualifying. After that round, if they do proceed, then they will be in that final tournament.